Hello again, friends. It's Lexi again, coming at you live at Camp Joy. Today's video is going to be all about feathers. Now, I have some feathers laid out for you today. We have lots of different types of feathers here at Camp Joy that we have collected. Here's some, here's some. Now, there are different types of feathers on a bird. Most of the pretty colorful ones that we like to collect are what are called wing feathers. So wing feathers are the feathers on the outside of the bird. They're very stiff, they're very aerodynamic, and these will actually help the birds fly, as well as being very colorful to help with attracting mates. There are other types of feathers though. There are these medium-sized feathers. These are going to go underneath the wings, the wing feathers, and these are actually called contour feathers. So these are what contour the bird's body. They're a little bit in between the smallest feather and the biggest feather, so they're a lot like the wing feathers that go on the outside, but a little bit smaller and a little bit softer. Now, at the very base of the bird, you have what are called down feathers. And these are very soft and wispy, and they're very short. And these are to actually help keep the birds warm and just kind of cover their body and protect their body from anything that's trying to get in, like bacteria and things like that. Here's another example of a down feather. And these white feathers here actually came from our friend Ollie, our dove, in the Nature Center. And you can see 3 different examples of feathers. So you have your down feather here. You have your contour feather here. And you have your wing feather here. Now we're going to talk about the individual parts of a feather. Now I picked out one of these larger feathers. This is a Canadian goose feather, just to be able to show you more clearly these parts. So the first thing you want to take notice of is this big, almost like a stem, right in the middle of the feather. That is called the shaft. And at the very end of the shaft, you can see that the inside of it is hollow. This is actually called the quill. And it's similar, you can remember that by knowing that a quill pen is a pen made out of a feather and the tip of the end, which is called a quill. Now feathers are actually made out of keratin, which is the same exact material that makes up your hair and your nails, which is really cool. Now if we look a little bit closer to the feather, you can see that it's kind of divided up into sections. If I run my fingers very slowly along the feather like this, you can see those sections kind of popping out. And if we were to be able to look even closer, it might be easier to see on the underside right here, you can see little individual pieces sticking out. Those are called barbs. So the barbs you can see if you look really, really close, but at the end of those barbs are actually something called barbules. And those barbules are going to stick out and kind of hold the feather together like webbing. So even if I run my fingers along these barbs, you can see here they're separated, but here when I run my fingers along, they don't separate because of those barbules. So now what I want to do is be able to show you in the microscope these barbules up close. So let's go. Okay, so right now I have one of Ollie's feathers, one of his wing feathers, under the microscope right now, and I'm going to show you those little barbules that we were talking about that we couldn't see before. So right here, you can see these little blackish gray areas. Those are your barbs. Those are something that you can see if you're looking really, really close at the back of the feather. But these little pieces right here that make up the webbing, those are barbules. So those are coming off of that. And you can see that you have different barbules going in different directions so that they all kind of mesh together and they create this sort of webbing so that the feathers don't actually come apart. Alright friends, thank you so much for joining in this video, learning all about feathers from Ollie and I in the Nature Center. Bye for now.